Famous books of the 20th century written by an American named John Reed was about the Russian Revolution. It's called 10 Days That Shook the World. This would be 107 days that put the world to sleep.
It is bewildering. Well, look, there's going to be Democratic donors, I guess, or somebody who's going to buy the book. But I think it brings up a much bigger question, which is, where is the Democratic Party headed? And I think we both agree it's not headed towards Kamala Harris.
It's not toward Kamala Harris, and it's got to quit recycling old candidates. Cuomo in New York, the electorate took a look at him and said, we'd rather have a Democratic socialist than this. We had one Clinton, then we had a second Clinton run for president. We had Al Gore, the son of a senator. We had one Bush become president, another Bush become president, and a third Bush try to become president. How can we enrich the candidate pool without going over and over and over these, particularly because we all know Kamala Harris was picked to be vice president. Her only claim on running for president was that she'd been vice president. She was only vice president because Joe Biden, in his desperation, having lost everything before the South Carolina primary, says, okay, I'll pick a black female running mate.
And there were only a couple. It's difficult to understand why you'd think that after her running for president, where she didn't even make it to Iowa because she didn't make it to the caucuses, much less out of Iowa, and then lost to Donald Trump in 2024, she would think the third time is my charm.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to talk about a couple of brutal reality checks for the Democrat Party, because Kamala Harris made a stunning admission when she was on Stephen Colbert's failing show last night, which is that the Democrat Party doesn't really have a leader, okay? And because they don't have a leader, their party is in shambles, right? And at this point, it seems as if J.D. Vance, who is the vice president, the current vice president, he has the best shot of winning the 2028 election as of right now. Again, a lot of it due to the lack of leadership within the Democrat Party.
You're not running for office right now. Yeah. You're stepping away from that life right now. Who's leading the Democratic Party? I'm just curious.
There are lots of leaders. And
there's generally a leader of the Democratic Party. You know, like, oh, that's the leader of the Democratic Party. Who comes to mind?
I think there are a lot of, I'm not going to go through names because then I'm going to leave somebody out and then I'm going to hear about it. But let me say this. I think it is a mistake for us who want to figure out how to get out and through this and get out of it, to put it on the shoulders of any one person. It's really on all of our shoulders. It really is.
Well, this is interesting, and I think it may say a little bit about where the country is. J.D. Vance in the lead for 2028. I can't believe we're talking about 2028. I apologize. Against Pete Buttigieg, Vance leads by 1 point. Against AOC, Vance leads by 3. Against Gavin Newsom, Vance leads by 3 as well. What do we take from this, from everybody who says how terribly Donald Trump is doing?
Name recognition, first of all. People at least know the name J.D. Vance. Although, wouldn't it be interesting to see a poll how many Americans know the name of the vice president?
I think that would scare both you and I if it was here. But you have to get, I think there's something deeper about that poll. We pick it back up. I take your point at both levels, but if people viscerally hated everything that Donald Trump was doing, the Democrats should have a lot higher number, shouldn't they?
That's right. But they don't like a lot of what Donald Trump's doing, but they just don't like what the Democratic Party is. But if the Democrats have a lick of sense, they're going to look at some people outside the box.
Yeah, that is brutal for Democrats, okay? It doesn't matter who they put up against J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is projected to win. AOC, Newsom, Kamala, doesn't matter, right? J.D. is sweeping the Democratic field right now. Again, this is really bad for Democrats because it doesn't matter who they try to put up against J.D. Vance. They're losing, okay? Assuming J.D. Is going to be the nominee, we don't know, right? I personally think that Ron DeSantis has a good shot of being a dark horse in the GOP race now that Trump won't be running again. But who knows, right? I'm just saying that for Democrats, there's no clear leader. Kamala Harris clearly does not want to be leader, right? Just listen to her answer. She sounds scared, right? She's like, well, I can't really say we have a leader, right? There's so many people. I can't name them all, right? Somebody's going to get mad. But it's not up to any one person. It's on all of us. It's on all of us, right? Again, that sounds like somebody that doesn't want to lead, right? They don't want to lead. Kamala does not want to lead. She doesn't want any part of politics anymore, right? In my opinion, right? I think that Kamala is done. I think that Trump has broken her, okay, when it comes to politics. And that's why she's given the answers that she's given. She's clearly defeated, okay? So with that being said, again, CNN also has a brutal reality check for the Democrats due to the fact that, again, they have no leader, while at the same time their party is completely in the tank. So they don't have any one person that can save the Democrat Party, that can pull them out of the situation that they're currently in right now.
Kamala Harris made her return to the national stage last night, sitting down with Stephen Colbert. It was her first major interview since leaving office. And during the sit-down, she discussed her announcement that she will not be running for governor of California, and also very clearly left the door open for another possible presidential run in 2028. CNN's Harry Enten looking at all the numbers for you on this. If she wants to run in 2028, what are the numbers that you're seeing about this right now?
Yeah, I would just say, hold your horses here. The chance that Kamala Harris is going to be the 2028 Democratic nominee, they don't look too good right now, to be perfectly honest with you. Chance of being the 2028 Democratic nominee.
Don't you need to do the caveat of like what year we're currently in?
I believe we're in 2025, though. It kind of feels like 2045. There have been so many years and just one so far. Look, Gavin Newsom is the favorite at 20%, according to the betting markets. Do not sleep on Ocasio-Cortez. AOC right up there at 15%. Buttigieg 9%. Shapiro 6%. Harris all the way down at 6%, basically in a tie for fourth place at this particular point. So if you have any ideas that Kamala Harris is passing up a potential gubernatorial run for 2026 in California and perhaps would be trading up for a presidential bid, the betting markets at this point, simply put, do not buy it.
Yeah, and again, this is why I think that her career is over, right? I don't think she can win in California. I don't think that she can win at the national level. A Democrat primary, she can't win a general election. Her career is over, right? This is embarrassing. How is it that the last Democrat Party nominee and the vice president, who, again, we were told is amazing, right? Kamala's so brat. You guys remember that? Y'all remember Kamala being brat? How is it that she went from that to being basically an afterthought when it comes to chances of winning the Democrat primary in 2028? It's because all the hype around her was fake. None of those people actually liked Kamala. They just hated Trump, right? And Trump hatred is not enough for Democrats to win. And that is one of my main points I've been driving home here for the last 6 or 7 months, which is that it's not going to be enough for Democrats to hate Trump. That's what they're relying on going into 2026. The midterms is not going to be enough. It's also not going to be enough in 2028, okay? At some point, Democrats have to stand for something, but they don't stand for anything at all. Except being against Trump. But what I want people to notice here is that out of the top 5 candidates, 4 of them are progressives. Kamala's a progressive. Pete Buttigieg is a progressive. AOC is a progressive. And Newsom is a progressive, which tells you everything you need to know about the Democrat Party, right? That only a progressive has a chance of actually winning, right? Which, again, is a big problem going into a general election. Can you guys imagine Gavin Newsom with how bad of a track record California has? Can you imagine him running as the Democrat nominee in 2028? Yeah, he's a slick talker, but he's not going to talk himself out of his bad record, right? He's just not going to be able to. I mean, his record is really bad. So, again, I think the main takeaway here is that there's nobody that is sane that has a chance right now of actually winning the Democrat Party primary. That is the biggest issue right now for Democrats.
Where are Democrats, though, right now, and how divided they are, historically speaking, looking at 2020?
Yeah, I would just say that at this particular point, Democrats at this point are historically divided. It is a complete and utter mess. It is messier than a hoarder's basement. What are we talking about here? The national early poll leader, 25% plus. Normally, that's where Democrats are. Biden was at 25% plus in 2020. Hillary Clinton was in 08 and 16. Gore was in 00 and 04. At this particular point, there is no one in the Democratic race for president who's polling at 25% plus. The water is quite warm. If you're a Democrat potentially thinking about running in 2028, jump right in, because at this point, there is no front runner.
What do you think? Is that because how people view the Democratic Party right now, is that contributing to this?
Yeah, I think that is in large part of what's going on, is one of the reasons why there is no front runner. Nobody wants to put anybody up at the top of their ballot list, is because at this particular point, the Democratic brand is in the basement. It is total and complete garbage in the mind of the American public. The Democratic Party's net favorable rating, record lows in all three. Wall Street Journal, 30 points underwater. CNN, 26 points underwater. Gallup, 26 points underwater. And that is being driven in large part by discontent within the Democratic base. The Democratic base wants something different. We'll ultimately end up seeing who they choose. It'll be quite the thing who ultimately gets the rose.
Yes,
Wow.
sir.
Wow. Complete and utter garbage, right? CNN not holding back when it comes to how bad it is for the Democrats. And again, the problem is that the Democrat Party base is radicalized. They're radicalized against Trump, which makes it so Democrats have to become more and more extreme in order to be able to win a primary, which makes it less likely that they can win a general. Okay, that is the position that Democrats are currently in right now. It is an absolutely terrible position, but it is a position that they're in because of the decisions that their party made, right? They made the decision to get in bed with woke extremists, and that has backfired on them because now the Democrat Party isn't extreme enough for the extremists that the Democrats radicalized, right? So that is what's happening, right? And this is why you're seeing in all these polls, Democrats don't have a clear leader because none of the prominent Democrats who are the most commonly thought of candidates for 2028 are radical enough, right? They want a Zohran Mamdani. That's what they want. I guarantee you, if Zohran Mamdani ran in Democrat primary, I know a lot of people might think this is a stretch, but I think he would actually win. And I think he would blow away the competition, to be honest with you. I think he would win. I think that's how radicalized the Democrat Party has become. Like, the base of the party has become that radicalized. Okay? So, I mean, that is where the Democrats are at, which is not good for them, okay, at all. And it's certainly not good for the country. But it is good for the Republicans, which is why a lot of Republicans have expressed disappointment in the fact that Kamala Harris seems to be ending her career, right? She's not running for California governor, and I don't think that she's going to run for president. But if she does, then, hey, if she happens to win, it'll be great for Republicans because Republicans will use her as an example of what you're voting for when you vote for the Democrats, okay? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.